Hey, good evening. Welcome to Foreigner in the Philippines. Well, I guess you could say that Beth and I are kind of like a delivery service. You know, we're not heroes. We just deliver what we've been asked to deliver, and sometimes those deliveries take place unannounced and are quite a shock to those that we deliver to. Now, a lot of people have a different idea about what help really means. It's not wrong, it's just different to ours. We try to help without judging whether the person is worthy of it, whether they deserve it. All that we do is we just look at the situation and we tell the story, and then we wait for those who may be touched by what we report, by what we video, and then we do as we've been asked. Well, today we had a great job to do in a madhouse of a Taliban, which is our nearest place for shopping, and we went in and, like, standing for after you've done the shopping for the groceries, then you stand in line for, believe it or not, about an hour in the most crowded, impossible, chaotic circumstances. Well, we did that. Tracy and I went and sat in the restaurant at Vidasto, drinking endless water, coffee, and God knows what. And we actually waited for Beth to get that shopping so that she knew exactly what she had to do. Had to get shopping for our own self for our New Year's celebration, of which we have our extended family coming and other kids, and just, well, it's open house, anybody is welcome. So we had that to do as well, and we also had a gift that was enabled, that we were empowered to give to a family that is well, they're the family of a little girl called Lovely. And Lovely, you've seen many times, because Lovely is this magical child, as they all are. But she is so incredibly cute in every photograph, and lots of people, including myself, say we want to adopt her. Well, somebody did adopt her in an unofficial way, and they said, we would like to give some groceries to the family of Lovely. Well, isn't it funny how coincidences happen? Lovely's benefactor is called Mina, and Mina lives in Cyprus with her family, and she took a shine on video to Lovely. Now, guess what Lovely's last name is? And we never published this. In fact, this was news to me. Her last name is Mina. So she was adopted by a woman called Mina. And Mina sent us some, I think it was $100, and said, I'd like you to get groceries and spend every single penny on groceries. Well, we did that, and you will be able to see the video. Now, I want you to try to imagine that you live in a tiny house perched on the brow of a hill. It's on the ridge of what is a mountain, because it's high. It's high above our hill, at about 90 meters, I believe, and it looks out onto an incredible landscape of hills and greenery and trees, and it is very beautiful. But the house is anything but beautiful, and they live in very, very poor conditions. The husband is a hard-working tricycle taxi driver, and he brings in the money that he can. So imagine $100 of groceries which were well, there's a word that you say when you want to attract attention. When you go to a store, you say ayo, ayo. So when we arrived, I happened to be carrying the rice. We took 2 boxes and half a sack of rice, and so it was me that said ayo, and the mother came to the door, and of course she said, oh, the house is very dirty, which of course it wasn't. It was just the way that you have a very poor house. It's tiny, absolutely tiny little house, perched on the ridge of the mountain, as I said, in what we call a tiny village, which is actually just a collection of houses. And can you imagine what it was like to see 2 boxes and half a sack of rice after a Christmas which must have been, well, bare, is my only guess. Well, we saw Lovely there, and of course she was lovely, and her siblings were there as well, plus other children from the village came and surrounded us, and we opened the boxes so that we could video, because we feel that when people send a gift and say we'd like you to get this or that, then they should see the face of the person that they have gifted that to. And you've got to understand that it must have been almost impossible for that woman to process what she was seeing. For her, huge boxes of groceries. Now, we bought food which is traditional to a Philippine family. Maybe not what everybody in the West would have considered was a great treasure, grocery hamper. They wouldn't, or picnic hamper, or whatever you want to call it. Maybe not what you would have thought, but this was food that we know that the family will eat. And no doubt they will share as well. So we opened the box, and Beth was the one that described everything that she had bought for the family, and it was everything from packs of noodles to some treats for the kids, which she opened right there at the village, at the door of this lady's house. And we had bought a lot of canned food which we know will be eaten. There's rice there, which you cannot possibly go wrong buying rice in a Filipino family. They eat it every day, 3 days a week, if they're lucky. So it's an extremely moving thing to see gratitude that is so deeply heartfelt that the woman cannot express it. And she said that she was so very grateful, and it was, the emotion was palpable for me and for everybody watching. It was an extremely emotional moment. You wouldn't think that, would you? We just took around $100 worth of food. Just imagine what your bill is when you go to any of the big supermarkets and you swan around those wide aisles where several shopping trolleys or shopping carts can pass at the same time, and you choose from an incredible array of luxurious foods that you will probably have consumed on your Christmas day. And here we are. Unfortunately, we got the money too late to be able to take it for their Christmas, but you can bet your life that the new year is going to be celebrated in great style and in abundance. And so I thought it was important to try to describe what happens when you suddenly arrive. And like, all that the woman heard was, she just heard my voice saying ayo. She doesn't know what's coming, because we didn't tell her, listen, we're going to be arriving, better put your makeup on and be ready. No. And the kids didn't know that, and it's just a moment of, like a miracle, you know. So Mina, thank you. It's a great thing that you did, and the family will be thinking of you for quite a few weeks while that food lasts. And then I doubt that for this momentous event that you brought to their Christmas and New Year, I doubt that they will ever forget you. And certainly the dress that Lovely was at the church with, she was at the church on Sunday, and she received an allowance, and she was in the dress that you bought. So thank you, thank you, thank you. This is a foreigner in the Philippines. Don't ever underestimate the effect of an unexpected gift, an unexpected show of kindness and caring for someone who is living, compared to everyone else, is living almost without hope. And that's the level at which we are trying to help. We're not trying to teach anybody that they should only have 2 children. We're not trying to teach them about birth control. This is not our mission. Our mission is to demonstrate that around the world there are people who will help, even though they will never receive anything in return, other than to see the joy on someone's face when a gift that is, as I said, almost like a miracle for them, just arrive at the door. You might remember a video that we showed of a house that we called the Skeleton House. And the Skeleton House was a family who, for as long as we could remember, we'd been passing this house and it had no cladding on the outside. That's why it was called a skeleton house. It had a few boards here and there which gave them a measure of privacy when they slept. 7 children. A man and a woman and 7 children, and I think that the man was a fisherman. I'm really not quite sure. But the woman said to Beth, I had given up all hope that we could ever finish our house. Now imagine how that woman felt when we arrived on the door, thanks to you and the gifts that you sent, which were spent in full on buying the materials to be able to finish that house. And we didn't just give her the materials, we didn't give him the materials. We sent round 3 workers who helped him and his father-in-law to work on the house. And we did a lot more than just the cladding. We put a concrete floor in and did some hollow block work, and they are very, very happy. So, thanks for looking in. This is a mention over Christmas that a little caring just goes so far to making someone find some hope. Isn't that the greatest gift of all? Bye for now.